There is a decision you make every single day, quietly, almost unconsciously, and it's shaping your entire life. It doesn't feel important, it doesn't look dramatic, but over time, this one decision determines whether you rise or slowly disappear into a life you never meant to live. Most people think success comes from big moments, big opportunities, big breaks, big decisions. But that's not how it really works. Life doesn't change in one massive leap. It changes in the small, quiet choices you repeat every single day. And here's the problem. Most people never pay attention to those choices. They wake up and go through life on autopilot, doing what feels easy, choosing what feels comfortable, avoiding what feels difficult. And then they wonder, why is nothing changing? But the truth is, something is changing every day, just not in the direction they want, because there is one decision so subtle, so easy to ignore, that it quietly controls your future. And that decision is this: will you do what is easy or what is necessary? That's it. It sounds simple, almost too simple, but don't underestimate it, because this decision shows up everywhere. It shows up when your alarm goes off in the morning. It shows up when you're tired after a long day. It shows up when you have the choice to grow or to scroll. And most of the time, easy wins. You hit snooze, you delay the work, you choose comfort over effort. Not because you're lazy, but because it feels harmless in the moment. Just 5 more minutes, just one more day, just one small delay. But those small decisions, they don't stay small. They stack, day after day, week after week, year after year, until one day you look at your life and realize you didn't end up where you wanted to be. Not because of one big mistake, but because of thousands of small ones. This is where it gets uncomfortable, because now it's not about blaming your situation, it's not about blaming your past, it's about looking at your daily choices honestly. Because your future is not being decided someday, it's being decided right now, in the moments no one sees, in the decisions that don't feel important, in the habits you repeat without thinking. Now here's the shift most people never make. They wait to feel motivated before doing what is necessary. They say, "I'll start when I feel ready." But readiness is a lie. Motivation is unreliable. If you only act when you feel like it, you will spend most of your life standing still. Because doing what is necessary rarely feels good in the moment. It feels uncomfortable. It feels heavy. It feels like resistance. But that's exactly why it matters. Because growth lives on the other side of discomfort. And every time you choose what is necessary over what is easy, you are rewriting your identity. You are telling yourself, "I am someone who does what needs to be done regardless of how I feel." That's powerful, because success is not built on feelings, it's built on standards. And your standards are revealed by your choices, not your intentions, not your goals, your choices. Now think about this. There are 2 versions of you, the one who chooses easy and the one who chooses necessary. The one who chooses easy lives for comfort, avoids pressure, delays action, finds excuses, and over time that version becomes weaker, more doubtful, more stuck, more frustrated, not because life is unfair, but because easy decisions create a hard life. Now the other version, the one who chooses necessary, this version doesn't wait, doesn't negotiate with excuses, doesn't run from discomfort. They act. Even when it's inconvenient, even when it's boring, even when no one is watching. And over time, that version becomes stronger, more confident, more disciplined, more in control, because necessary decisions create an easier life. That's the trade: short-term discomfort for long-term freedom, or short-term comfort for long-term regret. And here's the part most people don't want to hear. No one is going to force you to make the right choice. No one is going to wake you up every day and say, "Do what is necessary." That responsibility is yours, completely. And that's what makes it powerful, because it means your life is not controlled by luck. It's not controlled by circumstances. It's controlled by the decisions you repeat, quietly, daily, relentlessly. So the real question is not, do you want success? Everyone says yes. The real question is, are you willing to choose what is necessary when it's easier not to? Because that's where your destiny is decided, not in big moments, but in quiet ones. And this is where most people get it completely wrong. They underestimate the power of consistency. They think doing something small won't matter. They think skipping one day won't hurt. They think delaying one decision won't change anything. But consistency is not intensity. It's about repetition. It's about showing up again and again, even when it feels pointless. Because every time you repeat a choice, you strengthen it. You make it part of who you are. So if you keep choosing easy, you become someone who avoids growth. But if you keep choosing necessary, you become someone who creates it. And that identity changes everything. But here's the deeper truth. Making the right decision once is not enough, because life will test you again and again and again. Every day will present the same choice in different forms, different situations, different emotions. And in those moments, you either stay the same or you evolve. And what comes next is where most people lose control without even realizing it. Because the real battle is not making the right decision once. It's making it consistently, when no one is watching, when no one is praising you, when there is no immediate reward. That's where your destiny is quietly being written, in those invisible moments. When you could take the easy path and no one would know. When you could skip the effort and justify it instantly. When you could delay your growth and tell yourself, I'll do it tomorrow. And that's exactly how most people lose control of their lives. Not suddenly, but slowly, silently, one easy decision at a time. Now think about this. What you do occasionally doesn't define you. What you do daily does. Your habits are not random. They are the result of repeated decisions. And those habits build your future. So if your daily decisions are weak, your future will be weak. If your daily decisions are strong, your future becomes powerful. It's that simple, but not easy, because your mind will fight you. It will look for shortcuts. It will search for comfort. It will try to protect you from effort. It will say, you're tired, you deserve a break, you can start later. And sometimes those thoughts sound reasonable. That's the danger. Because the voice that holds you back doesn't always sound negative. Sometimes it sounds kind, understanding, even logical. But if you listen closely, it always leads you away from growth. That's why discipline is not about feeling strong. It's about acting strong, even when you don't feel it. It's about doing what is necessary, especially when your emotions tell you not to. Because emotions change. They rise, they fall, they disappear. But your decisions, they stay. They compound. They shape who you become. Now here's where it gets deeper. Every time you choose what is necessary, you build trust with yourself. And that trust is everything. Because when you trust yourself, you stop doubting your ability. You stop second-guessing your actions. You stop waiting for external validation. You become certain. Certain that you will show up. Certain that you will follow through. Certain that you will not quit when things get hard. And that kind of certainty is rare. Most people don't trust themselves. They make promises and break them. They set goals and abandon them. They start strong and fade quickly. And every time they do that, their confidence drops. Their belief weakens. Until eventually, they stop trying. Not because they can't succeed, but because they no longer believe they will. That's the real cost of choosing easy. It doesn't just delay your success, it destroys your self-trust. And without self-trust, nothing sustainable can be built. But the moment you start choosing differently, even in small ways, everything begins to shift. You wake up and follow through. You say you'll do something, and you actually do it. You resist the urge to quit just one more time. And slowly, you start becoming someone new. Not overnight, but steadily.
And this is where transformation happens, not in one big breakthrough, but in a series of quiet decisions that align with who you want to become. So stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop waiting for motivation. Stop waiting for life to get easier. It won't. What will change is you, when you decide to take control of your choices, when you stop negotiating with excuses, when you understand that every small decision matters, because it does, more than you think. Now imagine your life 1 year from today. If you continue choosing easy, where will you be? Same habits, same struggles, same frustrations. Different day, same life. But if you start choosing what is necessary, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it's inconvenient, even when it feels slow, where could you be? Stronger, clearer, more confident, more in control. That's the difference one decision can make when repeated daily. So don't underestimate today. Don't underestimate this moment, because this is where your future begins. Not tomorrow, not next week, right now, with one simple question. Will you choose what is easy or what is necessary? Because that quiet decision is not just shaping your day, it's shaping your identity, your results, your entire destiny. And the truth is, you've been making this decision all along. The only difference now is that you're aware of it. And awareness gives you power. Power to change, power to act, power to become something greater. So use it. Starting today, starting now. Choose differently. Choose growth. Choose discipline. Choose what is necessary. Because in the end, it's not the loud decisions that define your life. It's the quiet ones, the ones no one sees, the ones you repeat, the ones that, over time, turn into everything.